Everyone have their seat. Relax. I repeat my question. Any topic that you recommend, or you have a question, or you have...
To hear about dating?
About dating? Yeah, go ahead.
How can we have free will and ashkafat at the same time?
Very good question. Actually, you just asked the most famous question in history. Every person asks it, Jews, non-Jews. It bothers a lot of people. If you want a longer answer for your question, just log on to my website. I have a whole lecture about it. But now I'm going to answer you anyway. But before I answer, I want to develop the question a little further, because it's a very interesting topic. I repeat the question. The question was, if God knows the future, if everything is already predicted and He sees what's going to happen, how is it possible each one of us have a free choice? Because the Torah said we have a free choice. So let's make things a little bit more clear. It's true that according to the Torah, you don't have to be a genius to see that the entire Torah, from A to Z, from the minute you begin to read it until the end, every page you have proofs and indications that everything in life is a test, and if it's a complete free choice for human being what to do. When we go into the oral Torah, we find something very interesting right there. This is what it says, that when a man and a woman deciding to have a baby, and the night that they have relation, it will take from that night 40 days for the baby to be created. It's a process of 40 days. The Mishnah says something very interesting. When a woman gives birth, she becomes impure. Impurity doesn't mean dirty. She could be very, very clean as far as body, but she has something spiritual. It's called impurity, tuma. There's tuma and tahara. For those who didn't know, when a religious woman gives birth, when her husband comes to the hospital, he can't touch her, actually. From the moment of the birth, he can't touch her because she's in nida, in a state of nida, which it's like getting a period once a month. There is approximately 5 to 7 days that the woman is impure, and then we count a few more days, a week after, and then she goes into the mikveh. The Torah says that when a woman goes into a natural water, spring water or rainwater, or a lake or an ocean, any natural water that got to that place naturally, without the interference of people. In other words, if you brought buckets of water and put it in your jacuzzi, you brought it from the lake, it's natural water. But because you took it there artificially and brought it into your jacuzzi, the water have no influence anymore. It's all secrets. I know you have a lot of questions when I'm saying, but you have to understand the secret here. Is this is all spiritual, mystical things. Once it gathers into a hole in the ground, this water has the power to remove the impurity from the person. There's many different kinds of impurities. So once a woman gives birth, she's impure. Now the Mishnah speaking about what happened if she had a miscarriage. She lost the baby after 30 days of the pregnancy, or after 37 days. Where is the red line that it's considered that it was really a baby, and when it wasn't a baby yet? The Mishnah said, the Rambam writes also, Rambam lived about 850 years ago, that up to 40 days, she's still pure. She's not impure. Why? It wasn't a baby yet. From the 40 and on, it was a regular delivery. It's miscarriage, unfortunately, but it was a baby. That's why she's impure already. She's already has tumah. And then today, if you know a little bit science and medicine, you can check in the internet. I actually research what the doctors have to say, or the famous scientists that involved with the deliveries and babies. I have in my computer. I don't have my computer here, but I can email anyone who's interested. They say we don't know that much about certain things about the baby, but one thing we know for sure, that after the 48 days, it became a perfect human being. They're right, they have a lot of researchers that they checked all kinds of things. So up to 40 days, the Torah teaching us that when a woman became pregnant, she has very short, limited time to pray for what she wants. If she wants a girl or a boy, if she wants a handsome kid, she wants a smart kid, a rich kid, whatever she wants, she has to request it from the night she became pregnant for only 40 days. Now, most of you knows that by the time a woman finds out that she's pregnant, probably 30 days went there, right there. That she doesn't have that much time. It's days. So from the moment she finds that she's late, she probably have only few days to request. If she's very clever and she cries with tears, reading and praying to God, everything she requests, she has a very, very high chance that she will get. She wants a boy, let's say she has 7 girls. She's dying for a boy already, you know. So now it's the time to ask. After the 48 days, the Chachamim says that it's almost a waste of time. So in other words, if she pray after 40 days until the end of the pregnancy, she can pray 1,000 prayers. It won't affect the baby like one prayer will affect it in the first 48 days. Why? Because it's still an open issue. It's not a boy and it's not a girl yet. It's being created. If God wanted to give her a girl, and she really pray with all her heart that she wants a boy, and if it's good for her to have a boy, the decision will be changed while the process is taking place. If it was supposed to be a sick baby with sicknesses in his life, and since she pray with all her heart and also the father, the verdict can be changed. So that means 40 days it takes for a person to be created. So the Gemara says there's an angel that is in charge of the herayon. Herayon in Hebrew means pregnancy. Pregnancy, the most common pregnancy takes 9 months, as we know. 9 months is 271 days. 271, 30 days, 30 or 31 days in a month. The word herayon in Hebrew, in numeric value, give 271. Hey, it's 5, Resh, it's 200, Yud, it's 10, Vav, it's 6, Nun, it's 50. If you know what numeric values are, you add it all together, 271. Why? It's a divine language. The only language that was made by a creator of the world, the superpower, it's the ancient Hebrew, the old Hebrew, not the Hebrew that we speak today. The Hebrew that we speak today is a mixture of many different languages. The original language, the holy language of the Torah, every word has a very deep meaning, very interesting. If you just learn about this, you fall in love. You fall in love with Judaism, just through that. Through the meaning of the words, how it goes, what beautiful math are in it. Unbelievable. I'll give you just an example. The word emet, the truth. Emet is 3 letters. Aleph stands on 2 legs, if you know the alphabet. Aleph has 2 legs, Mem has 2 legs, and Taf has 2 legs. The word sheker, it's a lie. Shin stands on 1 point, 1 leg. Kuf stands on 1 leg, and the Resh stands on 1 leg. 3 letters, it's sheker, false. False has only 1 leg. How long you can stay on 1 leg? 1 hour, 5 hours, in the end you fall. Every lie is temporary. In the end, everyone will know that it was a lie. Just take time until this will be revealed. The truth is solid. It was always the same truth, standing on 2 feet, very stable. It's not shaky. It's standing. Also, emet, Aleph is the first letter in the alphabet. Aleph. Mem is the middle letter, and Taf is the last letter. What God wanted to teach us about this word, that the truth, from the minute of the creation until the creation will be dismissed, from A to Z, it was always only one truth, Judaism. There are many things in life that it's true, but it's bitter. And there are things that it's false, but it's very tasty, delicious. Which means, I'll give you an example. A person takes drugs, and he's flying now for 3-4 hours. He feels, it reminds me, I once went to give a lecture in Staten Island. I got there was about 50, 60 young guys, all in their 20s. I say to myself, what a lecture. No one makes a beep, everyone is listening. After 2 hours, I'm getting excited. Then one guy got up and went like this. I got nervous for a second. Then everybody got up and went like this. And they all started to scream all kinds of words. I didn't know even what to say. So then the guy that came with me, he was the one who put this lecture together. He said, wow, I'm sorry I wasted your time. I said, what do you mean? He said, they're all under drugs. They all took, I don't know, ecstasy, whatever, LSD. So they're all in a different world. That means they didn't listen to one word of the they're in a different world. And this guy started to scream, I'm Superman, I'm Superman. So there are things in life, it's delicious, like cream cakes, pizza, cholesterol, alcohol. People love it, but it's false. It's not healthy, it causes damage, it sometimes can kill a person. Sometimes it's bitter, it's painful, but that's the truth, like vaccine, right? You don't take this vaccine, there's an epidemic in town, you died in a day or two. It can save your life, but it's very painful. In the Israeli army, in the first day, when you join them, right away you have to lay down, they give you a big shot right there, for 3 days you cripple. You cannot avoid it. Why? It's not such a clean place over there. You can become sick in an hour. But it's necessary. There's only one thing that is very sweet, and it's the truth. Very sweet. It's Judaism. Why? Because that's the truth of the creator of the world. All the other phony religions, 80,000 religions and cults, were made by people like you and me. And believe it or not, they were much, much more foolish than us. Because if you review Christianity or Islam or all these famous religions, you'll be amazed how foolish the people who wrote it were. Because they made so many stupid critical mistakes that you get to conclusion, and it's not only my conclusion, it's conclusion of people who really investigated for years, that people in the level of first grade wrote it. Which means you take a Jewish kid in first grade and you ask him to write a phony religion, whatever is going to come out, that's more or less the same level like Christianity. And I'm not exaggerating. It's in Islam, mamash, you don't even know if it's real or it's a joke, the things that it says over there. So many contradictions, so many opposite things, and they mix the history. They didn't know the chronological order of the generations, so they took a person like Pharaoh, and they took Haman, which lived 1,000 years later, and made a dialogue between them. The one who wrote it didn't know that they could never see each other, because one was 1,000 years before the other. But they made it like they sit around the table with their advisors, and Pharaoh is asking Haman to help him to go. All kinds of ridiculous things, but that's not the point right now. So Judaism is sweet, not in the beginning. It takes few months to get used to it, like everything else in life. You have to remember, not only difficult things, it's hard to get used to. Even easy thing, I'll give you an example. Let's say a person is a lawyer, and he's making $100,000 in a firm somewhere in Manhattan, and somebody found that he's a very good lawyer, and they gave him a much better job, a great upgrade, from $100,000 to $1 million. It's the dream of every lawyer, no? So now he has to move to a different office. So he moved to a different office. He brought his stuff, he brought everything, his computer, he goes to a different office. Even though it's the greatest thing could happen to him, it takes him a month to get used to his new situation. He doesn't know the trains, he has to learn, he has to invest time, he doesn't like the secretary here like the other place. You know, he doesn't like his chair maybe, his boss is a little bit tougher. There are things that are different than what he's used to. So even to get used to something better, it's also difficult. All the beginnings are harder than later. Also, the Torah taught us a very big secret in life, that after the actions follows the heart, not like most people think. When you ask a person, I want you to become fully religious, give up your phony life, make repentance, change your lifestyle, slowly come closer to God and listen to His orders in the Torah. So the person say, okay, there are certain things in the Torah I don't mind to do. I don't mind putting tefillin 5 minutes a day, say Shema Israel, okay, it's no big deal. I don't mind eat kosher. Every block there's kosher. Okay, I can live with that. I don't mind once a year to make a sukkah. Actually, it's fun. I'll sit with my wife, my children. We sit in the backyard. We enjoy the holiday. Okay, it's also easy. He gives a list of things. Right away, he doesn't mind. However, this one for me, it's very difficult. What is this? I cannot promise you that I'm not going to cheat my customers in a business. That's already too much. I'm going to, instead of $1 million a year, I'm only going to make $50,000 a year. What do you expect? What? I'm going to give up all my salary now? What? So the problem that this person has, he doesn't realize that everything in life, once you begin to correct, you begin to change, you begin to do the right things, in the beginning it was designed to be very difficult. It has to be difficult. If it wouldn't be difficult, you don't deserve any reward. The entire Torah, it's reward and punishment. It's a very clever system. Reward and punishment. There is not one thing in your life that you do that it does not subject either to a punishment or to a reward, depend what it is. I'll give you an example. A person walk in the street for an hour. That was Wednesday. Thursday, he also walked in the street for an hour. The same transaction, walking on the street, no? Yesterday, Wednesday, every step he made, he got rewarded for it. Thursday, every step he made, he got punished for it. He will get punished for it. Why? What's the difference? Same time, he walked on the street. What's the difference? Wednesday, he walked in the street, and he watched his eyes not to look about all the bad things around him. All the non-modest lady, all the bad things around. He focused on the Torah lecture that he'd been or he learned in the morning, and he was cleaning his mind, and he was thinking about spiritual things. So while he was walking on the street, he had a big desire to look around. But he knew Hashem is not happy that a Jew, the Son of God, that represents him in the creation, gonna be like a dog, looking around like this, like a thirsty dog. So I passed the test. That's why every step I'm going to be rewarded. Thursday was too difficult for him, and he failed. He looked around and he saw what's going on in Manhattan on the street. So now, the same thing, walking here, walking there, it's a different life, different story. But remember what I said, the Torah taught us a big secret. We always say, if I like this mitzvah, I'm willing to do it. I'm going to do it. I like it, it's no big deal. It's easy for me. This one is too hard for me, I'm not going to start. It's the opposite. What's difficult, it's a better investment. You're going to earn right away. What's easy, it's very little reward. It's like getting a diamond that's worth $1,000 as opposed to one that's worth $1 million. Where do you have to sweat a little more? Here, no? You have to try a little harder. It's much harder to get. But when you finally get it, with a little bit more efforts, the reward is tremendous. You can't compare this to this. And that's what life is all about. The Torah says in the text, you can open the text and read, Ki menaseh Hashem etchem. I'm always testing you to see what's in your heart. I'm testing you to see what's in your heart. That means every second of our life, we are in a test. Most Jews, unfortunately, not even aware of it. What a tragedy. Think about it for a second. Person comes to this life. His parents raised him like another species in nature. They don't give him any valuable knowledge in life. He doesn't know the purpose of life. He doesn't know what he's doing here. His parents program him like a computer. You have to be successful, you have to look good, you have to be healthy, and the most important thing, you have to enjoy life and make a lot of money. That's more or less what parents teach their kids all over the world. And of course, don't forget, you have to go to a good college, you have to give us honor when we go in with our friends, uncles. They're going to ask us where your son or your daughter go to. If we're going to say a little lousy college, or they're going to say, if we're going to say NYU, I don't know, Harvard, whatever, oh, wow, what lucky parents you are. That's more or less the same thing. They check what car you drive, what clothes you wear. Today, the kids in school, it's not enough to see if you have a nice suit. They come and check the brand. They go like this, and that's based on that, they decide if you're going to be one of them or not. This is the way the people are today. I'm not exaggerating, it's reality. So what I'm trying to say is that the Torah, God told us in the Torah, every step you make is a test. One test is to see how much you love me. We have an obligation to love God. We say it in Shema Israel. First word, you should love your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your money. To love God, it's not a temporary request. It's a permanent. From the moment you're born until the moment you die, you have an obligation every second to recognize Him, to admire Him, to be impressed, to cherish, to be grateful to Him, to listen to Him, not to rebel against Him, to convince other Jews and friends around also to join His family, because He is the Father and we are the children. The Torah say, I made you my children, I made you separated from all the nations. I chose you to be my children. If people would know what a reward just those few words are, they couldn't sleep from excitement. Think about it. The excitement, do you know what... You understand what we're talking about? Just I want to ask you a question. Be honest. If God would come to you now tonight in a dream and say, hey, Avi, I want to talk to you. Yeah. You know, I see the way you live until now. I'm telling you the truth. I'm very disgusted from the way you live. I'm very disappointed from your level. You know, somebody like you should have analyzed life a little bit better. I know you're not knowledgeable in Torah. Your parents send you to learn with Mr. Bruce Lee and Mr. Williams in public school. You didn't know anything better. I can't blame you, no problem. But you're a clever guy. When it comes to business, you make the best deals. Investments, people are speaking, you always catch right away. In math, you're super. Everything you do, you're very talented. When it comes to life, you didn't dedicate 2-3 hours of your life to check what's the purpose of life. It doesn't bother you that you don't know what you live for? So now, okay, I'm willing to forget the past. I have one thing to ask from you. Let's be like a real father and son. I want to be close to you. I want to help you more. I want you to listen to me. I want you to be strong. I'm going to give you some challenges in life. Don't ever give up. I promise you, I'm with you. Everything, the harder it's going to get for you, the better it will be later on. I promise you. It will be 20% hard, you'll get reward. It will be 40%, your reward will be 100 times better. Don't worry about it. You can lose with me. Stick to me, I promise you. Everything I promise you today, you're going to get. Guarantee. And you wake up, and you say, it was an illusion, you know, a dream. The next night, you dream the exact same dream. After 10 times that God came to you in a dream, say, okay, listen, once or twice could be coincidence. Now it's no question. I'm the new Moshe Rabbeinu. God is in love with me. He comes, He speaks to me. What could be better than this? Would you have any desire to make sins after such conversation? You want to go now to the club to do whatever you do every Thursday night. So after remembering the dream, say, how can I go now? God just spoke to me a few days ago. Oh, I'm going to go today. I know what He's going to... I don't even want to think about it. Forget about it. I don't want to do it. It's an insult for me that my friend is even offering me to join him to the club or to go on Shabbat to a movie or something like this. What would a normal person after a conversation like this will do right away? Huh? He would read the Torah very carefully. He want to know more about his father, no? He finally found out who your father is. After 30, 40 years, your mother never told you who your father is. One day he shows up. I'm the real father. What the normal person does right away? The father came and said, listen, your mother kidnapped you when you were a baby. She went to a different country. It took me 40 years to find you. I spent millions of dollars, private investigators. I checked all over the world for 40 years. I'm suffering, running around to look for you. Finally, I found you. So you hug, crying, you know, like in the movies. Okay, it's over now. All right, what's the next thing? Don't leave me now. After 40 years, you want to leave me? Tell me where you are. I want to come with you. Let's spend tomorrow the day. So if a person just found out who his father is, father didn't give him that much information who he is, what's the first thing he's going to do? Google his name, no? He gave him a name. Oh, he found out his father is the president of this, president. The more he finds out about his father, he's more excited. Right? For good and for bad, he's very curious. Now, what could be more reason to check and learn about his father when he's an endless father, an eternal father? That everything, your real father can try to help you as much as you want. Sometimes the parents really mean well for their children, but they're really actually destroying their life. They put them down, they make them lose their confidence, they make them very weak, they give them all kinds of psychological problems. Why? Because they were too demanding, or they were too arrogant, or they were too angry. And some people have kids for one reason. What? To abuse them. To get all their anger thrown at their face. That's what they really have the kids for. If you wouldn't have a son, who is going to abuse? Who is going to scream when he comes from work? Who is he going to blame? Some people, they get married for this reason. All they do is get home and begin to abuse their wife. Why it's like this? Why the food is cold? Why the wall is dirty again? Why the chocolate is on the floor? Why he didn't vacuum the rug? Why he didn't send the mortgage? Why? He has a list of 5,000 whys. I'm not talking about other things that I see. I don't want to even bring it up. It's a disaster, the marriage situation today. It's a disaster. If people really knows a little bit what's going on in houses, should be so scared to get married. Sometimes I tell people, when you go to speak to rabbis, usually they encourage you to get married. Sometimes people come to me, I already see their personality, their traits. I already know it. I give him a week until he either hang his wife or she hang him, one of the two. So I tell him, if I would be you, I wouldn't be rushed. You're only 35. Take another 15 years. Age 50, come back to me, we'll find somebody for you. So, well, you crazy? I already feel it's too late for me. I said, believe me, it's better for you. And I'm so right, unfortunately. I'm so right. What's better? What's better? You have no idea what's going on here. Just this week alone, there was somebody in my lecture, was married for months, got pregnant, and from the moment she got separated from her husband, she has 2.5 years of hell every second from the minute she met that guy until now. Her life couldn't be worse than this. Mamash hell, she can't sleep, she can't function, she cannot work, all her money is gone, the court, the lawyer, so many lies. Wow, forget it. So what would be better for her? If I would know her before, I would give her the same advice, maybe we'll save her. People are not ready for marriage. Today I got a call, one girl, I think from Great Neck. The number looked from Great Neck. Yeah, 487 is Great Neck, no? 516-487. Okay, so somebody from Great Neck is calling me up. She wants to help two girls to get married, to get a shidduch. But she already told me the reason I want to do it is because these two girls are not religious, but they have a potential. They're willing to listen. They're willing to meet a religious guy and follow his way. So I told her, let's make a deal. Give those two girls my website. After these girls will call me up and say, we're on the way to finally keep Shabbat, to dress a little bit more modest, then from there we're going to start the process. She said, why? We cannot do anything now? I said, is it fair to take a guy that is 2 or 3 years, Shomer Shabbat, Shomer Mitzvot, and now we're going to get him with a girl that she has a doubt if God exists? How their marriage going to look? 30 seconds marriage. On the way to the car, it will be over. We have to be realistic. Yes, I really want to get married, but I have to also admit that I have no knowledge whatsoever what marriage is all about. I don't know what the responsibilities are. I don't know how to behave to a woman. Yeah.
How do you explain that the generations before us, our parents, were completely ignorant, had no knowledge in Torah, weren't so religious? Well, actually, their marriages aren't so good, but how come it's worse today?
Oh, it's very good. The reason that the marriage institution went bankrupt completely in this generation and about 20, 30 years ago is right. Jews that were not religious all over the world had a much better marriage than today. Obviously, 30 years ago you could find from every 100 couples, maybe 90 of them would be married more than 30 years. Today, where do you find couples that marry for so many years? Usually it's within 4 years, 72% of the couples getting divorced, within 4 years. And it gets worse by the minute. So the answer to your question is people had less temptation. It's all about temptation. The more temptation and desire a person has, the more it helps the marriage of that person fall apart. I'll give you an example what I mean. 30 years ago, life would be very, very simple. I'm not talking in America. In America, 30 years ago, marriage wasn't such an ideal. You know, I'm talking in the rest of, like in Iran, in Israel, in other places. The people had no television. They didn't have commercial every 20 seconds. They couldn't see 5,000 models in one day on a television. They couldn't see them. When they went to the street, they didn't see not modest ladies, because the ladies were very modest 40, 50 years ago. They were very modest. Even the goyim, they were covered from A to Z. You didn't see what you see today on the street. So a man had much less traps around him, much less things to see. Even if he wanted to see, it was very difficult for him to find it. He had to travel a lot to look. It was very difficult to find. Today, he just makes 2 steps out of his home, 5,000, I don't have to tell you what, walking right into his face. And then, on top of all that, on top of all this, the people in this generation became very, very materialistic. It's the number one in their list. The reason why they want to choose a soulmate, they first check his bank account. Something like this never happened until 40 years ago. It was always important, don't get me wrong, but never in a history we had a situation that out of 100 couples that going on a date, 99.9% of them, the first thing on their mind before they go on a date, how much money this guy have, or how much money her father has. Nobody lived this kind of, because the people were not so hungry. They were not so hungry for money. People lived normal life. Most people were poor anyway. Most people, if you went to Israel, I was in school, 95% of the kids came from very poor homes. Nobody could afford, even a donut, it was once a month treat to buy a donut. Even cold cuts, turkey, cold cuts, it wasn't some everyday thing. Once in a while, your parents can afford. Or yellow cheese, or to buy different things that you don't even believe. Oh, in America, who cares what kind of bread you buy, what kind of donuts, with chocolate, with jelly. Everything here is right away, take one as much as you want. It wasn't like this. People lived in small houses, very primitive, simple life. The husband and the wife always knew, my whole life is this man. And he know my whole life was this woman. On top of this, a person that got caught cheating, it was really the end of his life and the end of his reputation. If it was a man, if it was a woman, it was even worse. Her life was finished. Nobody would ever marry her. Nobody would have any relationship with her. In older days, a woman that got caught cheating would be executed right away, within days. On most of the world, in Iran they still do it today, but in most of the countries in the world, a woman that would get caught not fully cheating, just being kissed by another man in a public area, 2 witnesses came and showed it will be the end of her life. Nobody dared. People were close-minded because people wanted to become modern. They want to enjoy the world as much as possible. They want to check everything that's possible, vacations and restaurants and this and this and that. When the desire is growing, there is no room for marriage in your life. Can have obligations. Then today, with all this technology, you don't have to do anything anymore. A person is very, very spoiled, lazy today. He wants to do laundry, 3 buttons, laundry is done. You know how long it took to do laundry 30 years ago? Half a day. With the hands, like this. And then hanging it with clips. And then it falls down. You have to go 3 flights down to bring it up, wash it again. I saw it. I was a kid. People were very hard-working people. Who had cars 30 years ago, 40 years ago? Everyone was waiting an hour on a bus to drive 2 miles. That's what life was all about. Air condition? Nobody could dream. The first televisions came to Israel. 1 out of 1,000 people have a black and white television is a millionaire. That's how it was. Oh, these guys, when the color television came out, forget it. It was the president of Israel. He has a televizia b'tzivonit. I can't forget this. I grew up in this time. I don't know. In America, it's always few years more advanced. But still, you're young. Maybe you don't remember what I'm talking about. But the reason that marriage had more respect because people knew it's the most important thing in life. Today, no one is embarrassed to say that it's 5-time divorce. They even make jokes about it. You know, there are places in the world that the divorce rate is more than 100%. How can it be? Every person is divorced 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 times. So it adds up. So even there is 10% of the people that never got divorced, the other got divorced so many times, it went more than 100%. What's the... Yeah.
What if a person knows what's right, but he doesn't feel attracted? He meets a girl that on paper is good, or a guy, but they don't feel it. Or same thing with regards to anything, a lifestyle, a habit.
I want to explain something here. It's also a very good question, but I want to explain something very interesting. You know, the Hasidish people, you probably don't know that many Hasidish people in close relationship. Yes, you see them, you have maybe a cousin or an uncle, but if you really live with them for a month or two, you see their lifestyle, you'll be amazed how they get married. You know how they get married? They meet one date. In a worst scenario, 2 dates. That's it. There's no more than 2. 1 date, sometimes half an hour, sometimes even less. The boy see the girl for half an hour, she see him for half an hour, 6 months later they come to the wedding hall and they get married. Now, it sounds very ridiculous, but with success you cannot argue. They have the lowest divorce rate in the entire world. Wait. In the entire world. Let's analyze 1 second how they're doing better than our numbers. I'll explain it to you and you understand. The psychology of the human being is every one of us has a conscious and have a subconscious. Everything we see is being stored in the subconscious of a person. Everything. If a person saw one not modest lady, it's making him a spiritual damage to his soul. But he doesn't feel such a big damage because it was only one bad look. If you see 1,000, it's all stored. If you see 1,000,000, it's all stored. The more forbidden things that he see against God's rule, it's affecting his entire psychology. His computer, the soul, it's in the brain. It's messed up completely. He doesn't realize. But when finally he meets a girl, he is so confused that it's very difficult for him to develop normal relationship with her. There are so many things that confuse him because his computer is completely messed up. He has 1,000,000 viruses in his brain. 1,000,000. Virus from here, virus when it comes to money, to clothing, to looks, to bodies. So many different viruses. Now he is not even aware that he has any kind of problem. It's perfectly normal in our society. If you take him and transfer him back 500 years ago to a generation of 500 years ago, and he would open up his mouth for 1 hour, they'll put him right away behind bars. Right away. This is a threat to our community. Why? Because he is going to be so different than them, everybody will know this person came from out of this world. What kind of opinions he has? Let's stay away from him. Today, it's perfectly normal. The Hasids, they go, from the day they're born, they learn Torah, they go to mikveh, they see wonderful family, cousins, uncles, everything based on the Torah. They're very strict. They don't play games. There's always crooked people in every group. There's always. But the majority of them still is focusing on being living fully according to the Torah. So the kids never saw in their life a woman, never spoke in their life to a woman. He's 18 years old, he never spoke 2 words to a woman, not even to his cousins. How are you? How are you doing? Nice jacket, smiling, looking. None of these things. They live completely in 2 different worlds. They can be in the same house for Sheva Brachos or something. The ladies will be somewhere and the men will be somewhere. Therefore, in the first time in his life, you bring him almost any woman, pretty, not pretty, he cannot see any difference. He's attracted to all of them. I tell you, listen. So they don't check the beauty, because anyway they don't know to tell the difference. For them everything is good. If this woman is pretty and the other woman is not so pretty, there's no problem for him to be attracted to the non-pretty woman, just as he's attracted to the pretty one. But they are checking something else. Before they'll go on a date, they'll first check what school he went to. How did he do in Torah learning? How is his personality? Is he lazy? Or is he a hard-working guy, get up early in the morning, goes to the mikveh, go learn Torah? Is he generous? Is he helping the others? Is he doing chesed to others? How is his family? What's the skills of his brothers? In his entire life they investigate everything. The way he gets dressed, what places they're going to, are they too modern, they're not. They know about you. Everything you can think of before you showed up to the date. The parents of the girl and the parents of the guy, they know on the other side everything. After all the investigation went through and was approved, then the only thing is that they like each other. I'm not saying that they always like each other. Sometimes there's really no attraction. Yes, sometimes the shidduch doesn't go through. After once, they want another time. And sometimes after the second day, they say, no, she's not for me, or he's not for me. It happens. But I tell you a story, and from this you understand everything. My wife wanted to set up a son of my friend, who is working with me in Kiru for many years. She wanted to set him up with our across the street neighbor's daughter. So we thought he's a fantastic shidduch, and we decided to bring the guy to Monsey, from Brooklyn to Monsey, that the parents of the girl will come to meet him 5 minutes in our house and speak to him a little bit, and to see if they think that is good for their daughter. Accidentally, there was a misunderstanding that they showed up with their daughter. It was a misunderstanding. They didn't understand what I told them. Until today, I don't know whose fault it is, but that's what happened. And they got to see each other and speak for about 3-4 minutes. An hour later, I got a call from my friend from Brooklyn. He's Haredi from Leda, he's born religious, blessing me. I don't think anyone ever blessed me like this on the phone. You're crazy, you're meshuga. What did you do? You messed up this guy completely. I said, well, what happened? Why did you let him see the girl? I said, it wasn't planned like this. He said, that's it. There's nothing now we can say anymore. He saw her, that's it. You cannot break it up now. They never saw. Once they see, that's it. This is the real psychology of the human being. Now it's showing you how rotten we became. Why? Because we grew up in rotten, crooked society. The real way of God was like this. Eliezer, the servant of Abraham, got to see a wife for Abraham's son. He comes, he brings her all the way to Yitzchak, Rivka. How wasn't he afraid to go take a girl, young girl, 12 years old, from her parents, give them gold, give them diamonds, give them so much money, bring her all the way to Yitzchak. Maybe Yitzchak wouldn't like her. There's no chance. The people were so pure, their soul is so pure, anyway they don't see as the beauty of the body something so important. It's 5% of the entire budget. You have a package deal here. The beauty in the religious people, the holy people, it's only 5% of the deal. So even if it's not so perfect, that's no problem. By us, it's 95%. By the rotten people, and excuse my language, I don't mean to put anybody down. I'm saying this is rotten society. There's nothing you can do. We grew up in such a crooked, rotten society. Everything is the opposite of the truth of the creator of the world. That the people today are checking only 2 things, beauty and money. They're willing to compromise with everything, with health, with bad personality, He tells her, but he's very angry. So what? But he has $100 million. Who cares about his anger? We deal with that. He's very jealous. He's not going to let you make a step. So what? But he has a nice car. This is the way they think. They may not always say it. But this is the way we are today. And you may deny, you may think that I'm maybe exaggerating. You can say whatever you want. I have more experience than you in matching and things like this. I see what the people are asking me. I see what really bothers them. I see what their parents are asking. Before the shidduch goes through, they already want to know how much the father of the girl will give the guy. It all comes down to money. So what do you see? It wasn't like this in the old days. It wasn't like this. There was no expectation. You meet her, you take a little apartment, a little room. Everyone was happy. People were poor, but much happier than today. Do you know Rabbi Ovadia Yosef? He grew up in a little room, you know. There were 7, 8 people in one room always. There was no rooms. Today you have 30 rooms in a house. 30 rooms in a house. 2 kids and a dog. 2 kids and a dog. Each kid has 10 bedrooms. Every night he sleeps in a different room. Where are you, Moishi? I decided to sleep near the porch today. But 30 years ago, there were 7 or 13 kids in one little room. What do you think? That's the way it was. Yeah.
So, how do we fix it? We're in a society that... Do we need to move to a farm away from it?
No. A person has to know...
It's in our head already.
Okay. Now, that was my second half of the answer to Rabbi Dvir. My second half is, now we're already in the problem. We're already in a swamp. We got to get out of it somehow. No, we're there. That's our life. That's the way we're born. That's the way we're raised. We don't know anything better. Now, I want to show you. Baalei Tshuva, those who became religious and went to yeshiva for a year or 2 or 3, they automatically beginning to change. They're purifying their soul slowly. The way they think becomes different. The way they behave is different. And then they're slowly realizing that the girl is not what he thought a girl is. And the girl's also realizing that what she thought a guy she should find, it's completely different than what she used to think. However, since we born into this kind of society, when people like you going to get engaged today, it's very important that they'll have attraction one to another. Why? Not that this is the way God wanted it, but since these people are like this, the only way to make their marriage successful if they're going to have attraction. They can't go and get married and hoping maybe a year later I'm going to fall in love with her. It may not happen. It may happen, but it may not happen. So today the rules is like this. A person that go out on a date with a girl 3 times, 3 full nights, like 2 hours and 2 hours and 2 hours, in between talking a little bit on the phone, after 3 times they already have an indication if I'm attracted to this girl or not. If after 3 dates there's no improvement in the attraction, he's not waiting for her for the phone to ring or anything like this, probably it won't happen. There's always a chance that it will happen after 6 times. There's always a chance. But every date make the chances much lower. That means, from my experience, what I saw, that the maximum you should try 3 times. After 3 times, there's no point in wasting each other's time. However, some people say after the first day, no, it's not my type. I don't see myself communicating with a look like this guy. That's not always true. Believe it or not, sometimes the second date, what you thought in the first date that he wasn't so handsome for you, all of a sudden in the second date, it's not so bad. You found out some more things about him. He's very smart. He's speaking about a lot of things. He's charismatic. Fine. He's not so, he's not, he wasn't born in Hollywood, but still, you can communicate with him. Also with the girls. The problem that we have, we're not willing to compromise. Rabbi, she's everything perfect, but the nose is a little bit crooked. It bothers me. But she's going to be a great, wonderful, righteous woman. You have to have wonderful life with her. Great kids, great atmosphere in your home. So she's not 6 feet. She's only 5'11". So what? No, Rabbi, it bothers me. My brother married 6 feet. I have to marry 6 feet. It's become a mental disease. Mental disease. I'm not exaggerating. The things that I hear that the people requesting in the dates make me vomit sometimes. Mamash make me vomit. And I can't blame them. I understand where they're coming from. And I feel so bad for them.
I don't know if you saw it. parents who tend to impose their own opinion and say slander, lashon hara, about the person right when they see him, right when they walk in the house, they don't like him. For whatever reason.
Some things you have to listen to the parents. Some things is mitzvah not to listen to them. Okay, so I'll give you an example. If the parents come and say, the guy that you're dating is a sleazy guy. We checked him, we called some references, we called the neighbors, we called his teacher, we called his rabbi, and there's a lot of bad things. Or he was working in 42nd Street and he made already 52 times bankruptcy in 1 year. Every week he makes a new company. We don't want you to go on a date with a guy like this. Then they're right. She has to listen, or he has to listen, depend what side it comes from. But if they say, we don't want you to go out with this guy because he's not Persian, we want only a Persian guy, it's a big sin to listen to them. If you love your parents, you're not allowed to listen to them. Why? Because they're probably going to destroy your life. They're going to destroy your life because God knows who's your soulmate, not they. They're not God. God knows who's your soulmate. And if you're a Persian girl, 21, 22, and you have a wonderful, fantastic French guy, or Moroccan guy, or anything, Ashkenazi, Syrian, whatever it is, many nationalities, fantastic human being, and that's your shidduch. When the angel, I started to tell you before, 40 days before a person becomes a human being, there is an angel that is in charge of the pregnancy. He takes a drop of the seed, brings it up to God, and say, God, what's going to be the fortune of this drop? And God is deciding which soul from the people who are waiting to be reincarnated will enter the body of this baby. So there are from billions of choices of many people, not billions, millions of choices, God is going to choose one and say, you're going to be the son of Miriam and Moshe. And He is designing everything. He knows the place, the school that he's going to go to, which family he's going to belong to. Everything is taken into consideration, and He gets a guy into this body. Now, how the body is going to be, I told you, in the first 40 days, determined. Now, if, and also in the time of the creation of the baby, the court of heaven announcing who is going to be your soulmate, who's going to be your husband, who's going to be your wife. They already announced it for you. So if they announce it for you, nobody asks you if it's going to be like what you are, or it's going to be from different nationality. That's not something that bothers God so much like it bothers our parents. He thought that this Moroccan guy is perfect for this Persian girl, and that Georgian guy is perfect for this Ashkenazi girl. He knows better than our parents and better than us. Now the problem is, when a person comes and his parents tell him, don't go out with this girl, she's not from our culture, we don't like their culture, they're angry people, they're stingy people, they're bad people, they stink, they don't take showers, all kinds of old-fashioned rumors, whatever. What happened? Okay, she listened to her father and she doesn't go on a date. Then 7, 10 years later, she doesn't get married. She doesn't understand why. In the meantime, her soulmate, it's not his fault that her parents are prejudiced. So God has to take care of him. So He creates for him a new opportunity. He take a different girl and match between them. So now she lost her soulmate. Listening to her father basically murdered her spiritually. She's going to die single, or she will end up marry someone, the Zohar say, that is not her real soulmate. That means all her life was a waste of time. Because life is not a picnic just to have a wife to go to bed with somebody next to you. That's not what marriage is for. Marriage is a very holy thing. To create children, to bring souls, to raise them, to have responsibility, to do your job in life. So right away you destroyed your life. That's why it's very, very dangerous thing when it comes to this. Plus, it's very insulting concept. To come to say to your daughter or to your son as a parent, I don't want you to meet these XYZ people. That means you are making Lashon Hara at 500,000 people or 800,000 people. And according to the truth of the Torah, you now have to apologize and ask forgiveness to each one of them. And if one of them refuses to forgive you, you have a very big problem when you leave this world and you come to the court of heaven. It's a big thing. That's why someone who comes and say, Persian people are like this, Moroccan people are like this, the American people are like this. Big risk. Big risk. Where are you going to find all of them to apologize now? It's Lashon Hara. So now, also, it's saying God doesn't know what he's doing. My daughter likes this guy. This guy is learning Torah. He's a nice guy. He's honest. He's giving us respect. All his sin is that he doesn't speak our language. That he doesn't like Gondi, whatever. That's his sin in life. For this, he's going to lose his soulmate. Him and my daughter. Very ridiculous things. So, many times, we had, I've been giving lectures in the Bukharian community for about six years now. I give hundreds of lectures there in all the Bukharian shuls. And there are always sometimes cases like this, that you want to go on a date with an Israeli guy or someone that is not Bukharian. The parents, for them, is like an atomic war. No, don't do this to us. You don't know how much effort you have to put until they finally agree. So we had a case like this that I was involved, and just recently there was a bris in Monsey. The guy that is not Bukharian married a daughter. They're crazy about him. So I keep reminds them, remember what you did? No? You ever find a better guy than him? The best thing could happen to us. The other parents don't know what they're missing. They don't know what they're missing. Plus, another mistake in our mentality is that we think that our children get married for our own benefits. It's nothing to do with us. They have to be happy, not you. Nowhere it says that you have to like the look of your daughter-in-law. Nowhere. You're not getting married to her. Your son like her. What do you want? Don't marry her, my son. She's too short. Look at your brother, his wife, 7.5 feet. Look at her. You're bringing us a girl, 5'3". Come on. You understand? But that's what his soul feels like. That's his real soulmate. Another mistake is the money issue. When a person doesn't get married to a guy, a girl, because he doesn't have money, I have news for her. The next guy that she's going to find with money, guarantee she will not have a happy life. Not even once to a million. The Gemara says it. Someone who married a girl for the money of her father, because he knew his father going to give him money and buy him a house and gives him a lot of things, he will never have blessing in her father's money. And not with his children. That's what the Gemara says. However, if he would marry her with or without their money, doesn't matter. They want to give, they give. It doesn't matter. I'm taking you even with 5 pennies in your pocket. And we manage. Hashem is going to protect us. When your parents came from Iran 30 years ago, some of them also didn't have money. Today they're wealthy. I don't have money. They don't want me because I'm poor. Or because I'm not a lawyer. Fine, I understand them. But that doesn't affect our marriage. We should get married because this is what God wants. Sometimes the parents lie. Don't get me wrong. When a father comes to his son and says, don't go out with this girl, she's not modest. She's too talkative. She talks to every guy. She kiss and hug and shake hands. I don't like her style. He's right. The rabbi will tell her the same thing. If they have an argument and they do not know, sometimes you may have a situation that you don't know. Maybe my father is right. Maybe my mother is right. I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. What do you do in that case? Let's make an appointment by a rabbi that we trust. Rabbi, we want to come and say what we think. Tell us what to do. That's what the Torah says to do. There are cases like this. Sometimes the parents are right, but sometimes the parents is the only reason why they get divorced. They check the closet. They check what kind of car he bought her. They begin to make all kinds of comments. What kind of husband you have? Isn't it time he's going to change your car already? You're driving it already 20 days. You have to get a new car already. What is this? He bought himself every week a car, and you're already 3 weeks with this car and he doesn't want to replace it. I have a couple that almost got divorced. Guess for what? That her car was broken 3 days in the driveway. And he did not take it to the mechanic for 3 days. From the time he broke, within 3 days, he didn't take it to the mechanic. Her father came and took the girl with the baby to their house. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't fix his car, your car. Instead of helping the marriage, their pride is so high that they almost made them divorce. So I told that father, what's going to be your options? That you're going to raise your daughter with a baby for the next 10, 20 years in your home? You'll eat your heart all your life for the stupid mistake you made. Finally, we saved their marriage, and Baruch Hashem, everything worked out even better. But it's unbelievable what parents are willing to do for the pride just to be right. What about your son's life? If you're going to be a doctor, I'm going to help you out. You don't want to be a doctor, don't come to me for money. Don't bother me, okay? You want to get married to this daughter? Marry on your own. We're not coming to the wedding. All this kind of talking is a very big sin. I want to finish the answer to the girl that asked me this question in the beginning, because time is running out in a few minutes. Free choice is a very complicated thing to understand. The Torah is full of prophecies. Be careful. Warnings, full of warnings. Be careful not to make sins. Be careful not to be ungrateful to me. You must listen to me. Follow my laws. There's nothing that I'm asking you other to be fearful from Hashem. And there's no nation close to God like you to me. Many, many things in the Torah. The Torah always speaks conditional language. If you're going to do A, B, C, D, E, I'm going to bless you and help you and multiply you and give you the land and give you everything. And if you're going to go against me, you're not listening to me, and you're going to be stubborn, and you're not going to appreciate, and you think you are the talented one, and nothing comes from me, I don't want to say what, terrible curses, terrible punishment. If you want to see what, read in the Torah. So now, if we didn't have a free choice, that means we are a simple robot. Robot working, someone is moving us. Someone is pulling the strings, no? Now, if I created a Japanese little robot, Sony, I press the red button, he begins to walk. Then I press the yellow button, he makes a right turn. And there are stairs right there. Then I press again the red button, he makes few steps forward and fall down the stairs and break, and he lost his arm, the robot. Now I come, I pick up the robot from the floor. You fool! Why are you falling? Why are you not careful? Now you know how much it's going to cost me to fix you? Now if somebody would watch this whole thing, what's going to be the response to me? When recently you went to your psychiatrist to be checked, to be examined, and they write, somebody like me has to go to a mental house. In Israel it's called Abarbanel, remember. People like this that punish the robot, they go to Abarbanel. You want to send God to Abarbanel, Chas v'Shalom? If God is warning us so many times, be careful, do not do, you should not do, be careful. So many warnings. If he made me a robot, that means he's in charge of me. He moves me left, right. He wants me to kill someone, I kill someone. It's his move. I'm nothing. I'm a robot. Why is he sending me so many warnings? Why is he punishing me? Why is he taking things away from me? What is it my fault? You move me, no? I'm a robot. The Torah says, no, my friend. I'm giving you the life and the good, the bad and the death, and you should choose. Choose clearly. Uvacharta b'chaim. Choose the good. That means it's in your hand. Conclusion of the oral Torah. Everything in the hand of the guy, everything is in the hand of heaven, everything is God's decision, except being fearful from God. Fear God. Which means, listen to what he says. Without fear, a person does nothing. There are many, many people who like to give beautiful speeches. Don't be too strict in your lectures. Don't be too fanatic. The people are not capable of hearing such hard words. Be lenient. More people will come. Baloney. It's better 10 people come that they are searching for the truth, and in a week or two they become Shomer Shabbos, like I have thousands of cases like this, Baruch Hashem. Then hundreds of people will come, and one of them after a year become religious. This is not the Lincoln Center here to make an opera show or beautiful comedy. We want to save souls here. You want to save soul? The soul has to cooperate with you. He has to come and listen to the truth. 10 people heard it, 3 will put tefillin tomorrow, few girls here are going to buy skirts and they stop dress provocative, one guy is going to start keeping Shabbat. It's a great achievement. It doesn't go by quantity, it goes also by quality. One Jew sometimes equal like 1,000. That's what Shir HaShirim say, Dodi arad legano lilkot shoshanim. Hashem is going into the garden full of thorns. And he picked up the only rose that was there. Who's that rose? The righteous Jew. Who are the thorns? All the wicked one. They're not keeping anything. The one rose, he takes him out. Why? Instead of killing 1,000 Jews in a tragedy, he take one tzaddik, is equal like 1,000. All of them together, with all their traits and their mitzvot that they have, combined is equal to one tzaddik. One 18 years old guy that learns in yeshiva 10 years, serious, and keep everything according to the Torah, is equal in the eye of God more than 1,000. And we see hundreds of cases in the Tanakh like this, that God says clearly that this guy is equal like many others. So not each one of us is equal, don't think. No. A bastard, a mamzer that was born for forbidden marriage, is better than Kohen Gadol, the highest priest, the highest Kohen in Bet HaMikdash, if he's knowledgeable in Torah. If he's a tzaddik and he knows a lot of Torah, he comes before the most famous Kohen of the Jewish nation. Why? There's no discrimination. Yes, he has restrictions applied to him, but the things that is in his hand, his choices to be righteous, to learn a lot of Torah, to be Talmid Chacham, that's why he's better than a Kohen. Could be better than the king in Shamayim. If the king is wicked, this Chas v'Shalom Mamzer was born from a married woman that cheated, is better in Shamayim than him. Why? He worked 30 years to become tzaddik. The other one doesn't care about his life. He does what's good for him, not what's good for God. So to conclude, if we wouldn't have a free choice, there would not be reward and punishment. God will never bother giving us Torah. You don't give Torah to robots. They cannot do anything according to the Torah. It's not in their hand. Why are you wasting your time bringing us to Mount Sinai? We are robots. So for sure we're not. You don't make hell and heaven. For what? You take the robot that just fell and broke and put him to get punished? It's not his fault. It's your fault. Punish yourself. Why you bother sending prophets? Every once in a while you send a prophet to come and warn the nation to make repentance. Why? The nation is not their fault. You are moving them. Warn yourself. You are doing a bad job. What do you want? Why the prophet comes and warn them? Be careful. Do not do this. Do not do this. It's not in their hand. So obviously, it's 100% in our hand. Now you may ask me, but still, God knows the future. And you have to know one thing. God is not what you're thinking. Everything you think, it's subject and connected to time. Everything. Every step you made in your life has to do something with time. Time exists only where material exists. There's no material, there is no time. Since God is not materialistic, is not material, He doesn't live in this creation, He's not limited. Nobody created Him, He was always here. Now it's another thing that a man cannot understand. How is it possible that God was always here? The word always does not exist in the vocabulary of God. Always is subject to time. Past is time, it doesn't exist. Present, future, it doesn't exist. For God, in the moment that He created this world, for Him it's already over. We are in the middle of the 6,000 years process. Reincarnations, different bodies, different countries. For Him, in the minute the world was created, there is no really future for Him. It's over. Everything, it's happened already. But we don't understand how can it be. Why? Because we are programmed in our creation that every formula, every step, everything we do in our life, we cannot do anything before we thinking about time. How long it's going to take, how long it's going to take me to prayer, how long I'm going to have to work to give money for donation, for making a living, how long I'm going to be sick, how long I'm going to be able to, whatever. Holidays, Shabbat is time, making bracha for the moon, everything is time. The Torah is, in the entire Torah, the entire life is time. God doesn't have time. What's the name of God? Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey. Why? In those 4 letters, you have Haya, Hove, Yeh, past, future, and present. In the name of God, all 3 times is in the same time. We do not have a way to understand it, but I'll give you an example how the free choice works. I'm sure a lot of you have GPS in their cars. GPS. It shows you the direction where you have to go. What happened if you missed exit 33 on LIE? You missed it. What happened right away to the GPS? Recalculating and give you an entire different direction in a second. This is how our life every second. It's 100% in our hand. We are living in the present. We are choosing to do good or bad, and we are being evaluated. And we are going to get rewarded or punished, God forbid. For God, it's over, because He's more advanced. He traveled into the future. Just think about it, that God could jump 6,000 years forward and see the results of our choices. And now He's going back in the time, because He doesn't subject to time. It can be in any given time at the same time. I know it's very hard to understand, but I want you to get a little bit of this. So now, the GPS, you had an opportunity, age 22, to marry this guy, Moshe. For whatever reason, you didn't marry him, he wasn't rich enough for you, whatever the case was, your GPS in heaven is being recalculated now. Your next opportunity will be Yitzchak. But it will never be the same, never. If you would marry Moshe when you were 22, age 35, you already had 5 beautiful tzaddikim, righteous boys. Each one of them will be a huge rabbi, will have thousands of students, will make so many merits to you in heaven for eternity. Since you didn't make the right choice, for stupid reason you gave up this guy, 2-3 years later you have another opportunity and you marry somebody with a lot of money, but no holiness in his life. Shabbat is nothing, davening is nothing, the children go to yeshiva, it's not even yeshiva. Everything is half and half by him. So you have bad kids. These kids not interested in Torah. One becomes Mechalel Shabbos, one became a thief, one became a policeman. Everyone became something. So your eternity will never be the same. If you marry this, if you make the right choice here, or if you make the choice here, from now on everything is being recalculated. It will never be the same. This is what it means, free choice. Very complicated.
The theory of relativity. Einstein proved what you're saying.
Yeah, Einstein proved what I say, but with all the respect to Einstein, the Ramban, 700 years before him, wrote it in his book. I can show it to you in the Ramban. Ramban already say what Albert Einstein got a lot of credit for, that when there is material, time exists. You go out of material, time does not exist. And if you're not convinced, I'll give you one last final proof. What is it? A dream. A dream can take 9 seconds, 20 seconds, a minute. Everybody understands that a person went to sleep half an hour, you wake up with a very long dream. How long is his dream? 6 months. He went to jail, they beat him up for 6 months, they broke his bones, he's full of cast. His head is broken, they took one of his eyes out, he's crippled now, they give him bad food, now they're moving him to another island. He wakes up, he begins to cry, his wife, what happened, what happened? You don't understand what I've been through. 6 months of the worst. 6 months? You're only sleeping for 5 minutes. You just fell asleep 12 o'clock, it's 12:05 now. But the person is not clever, because he should have asked himself, wait a minute, 5 minutes I was sleeping, I had conversations in a jail with this goyim that put me there, hours every day, in a dream. In the dream, I know what I told him, what he told me, where he pushed me, where he beat me up. How all of that fell in 1 minute? Or 9 seconds? How? How can you fit it in a time? Time doesn't exist. When the soul exits the body, no more time. If God wants you to have billion years in 9 seconds, you push billion years in your life. If He wants you to have a year, He push a year. If He wants you to have 5 minutes, He push 5 minutes in a dream. That's what heaven and hell is all about. People asking a very clever question. Rabbi, you really believe the Zohar?
You really believe the Kabbalah? You believe that really there's hell after life? How can it be? We all saw the body went to the grave. 2 months later, the worms ate it up. There's nothing to burn. Well, the person that is dead, his body stays in this material world. He never went to hell to be burned. So he's right here. So who gets burned? The soul is a divine energy. You can't burn it. Bring any torch you want. You cannot burn the soul. So, what's the answer? The answer is, Hashem doesn't need your body. This entire thing, it's a simulator. Like when you learn to fly, you sit in a special little room, and you are thinking that you're flying, and you vomit, and you have headache, and you feel that you have G-force. It's all real. I was in the Air Force, I saw the pilots comes out of there. Like this. Red face, sweating. He wasn't even in a plane. It was 100% like being in a plane. Attack, heartbeat, losing their hair. A pilot came to the Air Force, a year later was over from the pressure of the simulator, from the training. It's real. What is it? A person is not where his body is. We should already understood that. You are not where your legs are. You are where your neshama is, where your thoughts are, where your conscience is. Where is your conscience? You are here, but your head is in Vietnam right now, 30 years ago. You sit on the beach, beautiful sun, the birds are singing, nice breeze, people are putting music, beautiful atmosphere. Somebody put headphones on your head, you hear gunshots, people are screaming, crying, boom, but bombs falling. 10 minutes later, a person get a heart attack. So the doctor writes in a report, died in Vietnam under stress from the bombs. He was in Malibu Beach, what Vietnam? His legs was in Malibu Beach. His soul was in Vietnam. You sleep in your bed, in a beautiful bed, $5,000 mattress, your soul is in hell. You don't know it, you wake up and you're, oh, I got burned. For 6 months I was in hell. Why? That's where you were. Now you catch that point. When the Torah says that Chas v'Shalom a person gets hell or he gets heaven, it's the soul only. But the soul feels it exactly like you feel it here. When a person, God forbid, is burning here in an accident, the body doesn't get burned. Yes, the pain is the soul, not the body. The pain doesn't come from the body. The body is a bunch of molecules. It's like a wood, burning a wood. The wood doesn't have feelings. The wood doesn't feel any pain. The pain is only from the soul. The entire nerve system is subject to the feeling of the soul. What's the proof? Clinical death, out-of-body experience. I have life after life. Watch the lecture in my website. People who died for half an hour, the doctors, one of the way of the doctor to see if the person is alive, they're pinching them. They're beating them, they're pinching them, sometimes they burn them even, to see if they react. It doesn't react. You take a cigarette to a person that is dead, burn his entire head with a cigarette. It doesn't make a beat. 40 minutes later, he comes back to life. Now he feels the burns. When he opens his eyes, now he feels the pains of the accident. But when he was dead, no pulse, no brain waves, the soul was out of the body. He wake up and he say, I was flying in a room. I came back into reality now. Now he begins to feel the pain. The pain is not in the body. You understand? It's a combination of the body and the soul. So if God wants to punish a person, in less than a second after he died, he can give him in his soul millions of years of tortures. And the person will feel exactly million years. Exactly, from A to Z. Without the body. No difference whatsoever. Or the other way around. I will finish with something good. The Torah says, if the people would know the reward to the Jews who listen to God and live according to the Torah, if you take all the wealth and all the greatness of this earth, multiply by 70 years, of all the people combined, will not be equal to the reward of 1 hour of a righteous Jew. You got it? Take all the millionaires, all the billionaires, all the handsome people, all the great cool, all the most beautiful ladies, all the sports, the athletes, anything you can dream on, art, music, everything combined, of all the billions of people in the world combined, it's not equal to 1 hour you're going to get for keeping Shabbat, for being modest, for learning Torah, for being honest in the business, for putting tefillin, for reading the Lobby Tehillim every day. Nothing will be equal, and the best news is, after 3 months that you become religious, you hate your previous life. You're gonna take all your old pictures, I promise you, and bury them. As God forbid your children will not see who you used to be. You wait and see. Why you don't feel it now? You think I'm crazy, why? Because the person that is in the bathroom, he got used to the smell. He doesn't feel anything is bad. He will only recognize it when he goes out of the bathroom. A person that lives an impure life, and his life is stink spiritually, could be the richest guy in the world, could be rich and famous. Everybody will worship him. He's an athlete, he's a famous movie star, whatever he is. It's all a very tempting illusion. He is deep, deep in the garbage. Only after his soul begins to release from this phony life, he looks backwards and he says, how could I be what I used to be? How did I used to dress this kind of clothes? How my hair used to look like this? How I was walking with earrings? How I was driving on Shabbat? How I was selling my soul for $1? How I was so ungrateful to my parents? How I was so bad to my children? How I never respected such a great husband or a wife? Or how I never appreciated there's an opportunity to learn 1 hour Torah and in one day to make hundreds of thousands of mitzvot that later I'm going to cash out a huge reward. Why you don't feel bad about it? Ignorance, remember this word. It's the biggest danger to a person's life. When you're not aware of it, when you're not aware of the reality, it does not change reality a bit. Nobody cares if you know the law or not. You drove in certain places 100 miles an hour, you go to jail for a few days. Somebody gave you a car and you forgot to insure it. You forgot to insure it. You go check if you insured or not. Here's a $100,000 car. You don't trust him to pay $1,000 a year insurance. You trust him. You got pulled over. Show me your insurance. Oh, the car is not insured. You go to jail. You sit with the most despicable people on earth together in one room. And your life is in a risk. Why? You didn't know. It's reality. You put your hands in the fire, you lose your hand forever. It's not my fault, Rabbi. I didn't know it's gonna be. It's reality. Instead, not knowing reality doesn't change what you're going to face. Drinking poison. It's very tasty. No effect whatsoever yet. 10 years later, it combines to cancer, God forbid, like Diet Coke. All these years he drinks Diet Coke, he's smiling great in the sun, cold Diet Coke, whatever it is. All these chemicals slowly destroying him. He's not aware of it. Doesn't matter. Person drives on Shabbat, makes business, go to the opera, go to baseball games, everything is beautiful. He's not aware of what he's facing. God is not a liar, the Torah is divine. You will face it whether you like it or not. The question is, why don't you want to be clever and prepare a medicine to the sickness before it comes, not after it's too late. God forbid we may miss the train. We are 3 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, it's the judgment day. Your entire next year is going to be determined of what you're going to do between now and Rosh Hashanah. How much repentance you're going to do. How much charity you're going to give. How are you going to improve your Shabbos? How are you going to improve your clothing? How are you going to start buying some books and see what Judaism is all about? You begin to read the Torah, you see that you're so far from the truth of life that it's going to be a red light. It's a wake-up call. I better get up before it's too late. And you miss everything. Don't comfort yourself that there's other millions of losers around you. If all the people in medical school fail in the final test and they go to clean the garbage, you're also going to go to clean the garbage. You're not going to be the doctor. Why? You also fail. But rather everybody failed. We're all in the same garbage. What does it have to do with you? Don't be a fool. You want to be successful. If everyone poor in town, you also want to be poor. No. I want to be rich. But everyone is poor. What's the problem? Everyone's suffering. No, I want to be rich. Why? I understand. I want better life. The idea is the evil inclination is blinding the person left and right. Don't be fanatic while you're listening to these young guys coming giving you all these lectures. Well, there are other lenient rabbis. They allow you to marry Christine if you want. You have a boyfriend? Marry him. 2 boyfriends in the church together with a reform rabbi. No problem. Bring your dog to be a witness. You saw that movie that's going on the internet? This millionaire here in Manhattan made a bar mitzvah to his dog, put yarmulke on his head, opened up the Torah and brought the dog and made him a $10,000 $1 party. If you don't believe me, come give me your email, I forward it to you tonight. Bar mitzvah, they put it on CBS News. Was an embarrassment for the Jews. And that's what the Torah said before Mashiach come. There would be Jews that are so low that they would be like a dog. Pnei הדור כפני הכלב. Not a joke. Everybody laughed when they saw this email and I was crying. I said, wow, how low we can get. And he's bragging to the camera that even Christine, the host, was laughing at it in his face. I took my dog to the church, but to make him bar mitzvah, she was laughing at him. So I want everyone to know it's perfectly legit to make a bar mitzvah to my dog. Aren't you embarrassed to spend $10,000 on this lousy dog? What do you mean embarrassed? He's gonna leave him $100 million inheritance. You know what's gonna be the biggest thing? When he comes in front of God to his trial, he will never ever stop suffering for this stupid mistake. Why? God will show him. You can take all your millions and open up yeshivot of people learning Torah, sending Jewish school to yeshivot. They cannot afford it, they go to public school, and their soul being destroyed there. They marry non-Jews, intermarriages reaching already 80%. You could have prevented after you died. All the merits will go into your account and make you and elevate your soul more and more and more forever. In the end, your money went to this dog. What is he gonna do to himself? God, but I love the dog. Sure, I love the dog. Why I love the dog? You know why I love the dog? Because you don't love Hashem. If you love Hashem, if you're close to God, you cannot be in love with this dog. Die for him, give him $20 million inheritance. When your brother Jews are dying from starvation, when there are CDs that cost $1 nobody wants to give CDs to thousands of Jews, 10% of them will become Shomer Shabbos. They'll all be your merit. They'll be all yours. What do you do with the money? Buy a $5,000 jacket. If a person will review what he's doing with his money, what he could have done and what he's doing, he'll never forgive himself. Vacation and another apartment and another building, what are you gonna live forever? What do you need so much money? Why don't you take care of your son? Of the future of your children? Why it's all business and greed and money and fighting and running? If you be 70 years old and you have to get a medicine that will cost you $1 billion, and if you had $1 billion to live another day, to live another week, you would buy the medicine. Why? One day of life is more important than $1 billion years. Why? Now you have 3 days. 3 days! Why don't you take advantage of them? One day you'll be willing to pay millions to buy a day of life. If you have a lot of money, if a person has $1 billion today, and he's 70 years old, in good condition, and all of a sudden he got a heart attack, and the doctor said, listen, this machine, we can put it, we can attach it to your heart, it's like a sticker, you don't feel anything, as long as it's attached, you're alive. You take it out, you're dead. But it's gonna cost $1 million a day. There's only one in the world, everybody wants it, $1 million a day, and he has billions of dollars. Would he pay $1 million a day to live? Now he has it for free every day. Why doesn't take advantage of it? Ignorance. Nobody understands the moments, the time that are being lost. I can't blame anybody, don't get me wrong, I'm not coming to tell you you're wrong and I'm right, no. I'm speaking from the same point of view. The difference is that I want to make it better. I learn what I'm doing wrong, trying to improve it. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I fail. But you know what? There's good news. If you fail, and you feel bad about it, half of the punishment is waived right away. Either way you win. It's a no-loss situation. You always win. Because when the father sees that his son is embarrassed for what he did to him, and he wanted to give him a punishment and take away his bike. But when he saw that the kid is crying and says, sorry daddy, I feel bad what I did, you know, it's I did wrong. What happened? He take a candy from him. Doesn't take the bike. One made him change it. It's not fair, the kid is regretting. Same thing God says in the Torah. Batzar lecha, when you're under stress, when you're under pressure, and the problems begin to accumulate in your life, you'll be forced to make repentance. You'll be forced, but the point is why you should be forced. Now when everything is great, It's much better. God, I have money, I have the look, I have a great wife, I have nice beautiful children, I have few houses, whatever I have a car, I have whatever I want, I have. You know what? Out of appreciation, I want to begin listening to you. Not for reward, not for punishment, for the truth. Because the truth